Hello everybody, I'm Nathan Haynes-Magyar, a product designer and full stack developer, and in this video I'm excited to walk you through how I've been using vibe coding to boost my productivity in my personal projects. So outside of my full-time job as a software development lead at the University of Michigan, I design and build TwirlMate. It's a baton twirling competition management system that event organizers use to facilitate their contests from start to finish, all the way from collecting and automating registrations to tabulating and posting results. And while this is a huge passion of mine, it can also take up a lot of time, especially when it comes to curating the content behind all of it. And so I wanted to figure out a way to expedite that process so that I could be freed up to continue designing and building things instead of having to manage the content. So I partnered with Claude Code to help me figure out a strategy for doing this. I'll just quickly walk you through the calendar here, which is the main part that takes up a lot of time when it comes to populating these events, because there's all this like metadata associated with a contest. Ideally, there's like descriptive information about the contest, there's logistical information about when it is and where it is and how it's going to be organized, any policies or rules around it. And all of this is spread across the internet in a lot of different places. There are a number of different organizations in the competitive twirling world, such as the United States Twirling Association, Twirling Unlimited, National Baton Twirling Association, and each of these sites kind of has their own calendar and their own circuit in which you can compete, which is really great for providing diverse opportunities for people, but also makes it really hard to find all of the information in one place, which is what led me to create TwirlMate in the first place. So in the past, I've been like scouring these websites and referencing all the information that's posted here, and then going through the like manual event population process that I've created in TwirlMate. And depending on how much detail I want to add to any of these events, that could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes per event, which is just way too much when there are 300 plus events happening every year. And you also don't know when new events are coming up. You have to remember to go back to these websites and look for what's new or what's changed. And so there's just a lot of potential for things to get out of sync or be inaccurate. And so I wanted to automate that process for myself so that the information can be as high quality and accurate as possible. I'm showing this Facebook group here because this is another source of finding events that are not within a particular organization. There are these independent events that run as well, and so you can come to these groups to find where people are advertising those. But again, you've got to like scroll through the history of things or be paying attention to when stuff comes out in order to stay on top of all the information. So that leads me to vibe coding with Claude Code. I first did a lot of back and forth with Claude, not the code part, but just the regular desktop app, to brainstorm this idea, walk through edge cases, describe all the different ways that these organizations are displaying information, because like this one, you can actually sneakily target the Google Sheet that's populating this, which is kind of like being able to parse a CSV, which is a lot easier. But then something like the National Baton Twirling website doesn't offer that, so you actually got to web scrape it kind of old school with Beautiful Soup, which requires a totally different approach. And so I just kind of went back and forth with Claude to figure out how I'm going to do that, and add all the other features that I had in mind for ensuring that this app was going, or that this feature was going to be helpful for me. So once I had that plan in place, I actually dumped it into Claude Code. I had all the spec and the context prepared for it, so it knew really well what to do. And there was still a lot of back and forth that had to happen at that point to say, oh well, I see that you're defaulting to creating these events and starting them at midnight. Can we start them at 8 a.m. instead? Those sorts of things. So lots of back and forth cleaning to slowly and surely get the output that I wanted, but eventually I got there. And so In production, I'm able to configure these recurring commands that run through Django Celery, and it looks, kind of like this. And then once the command runs, I get an email saying, how many events were found for a particular automated sync and how many were created. I can see what they were. And then it's kind of up to me to go into the administrative interface of the system to review and approve them. So there's still a little bit of manual work right now. It's not perfect, but it has saved me so much time already. So I'll just give you a little brief example of how this has worked. So let's pull in all of the NBTA events. We see here that there's nothing here called NBTA that was like recently created, but if I run this command, then we see that the job started successfully. And over here in the Celery terminal, we can see that all of that kind of went through. There's a bunch of like logging and stuff that I've added here to be able to, follow the code as it's doing its thing. But let's go back to the Django admin. If I refresh, woohoo! Now we've got like 80 plus events here that are all nicely, named for me in just the way I want them, and in the prettier, nicer interface, I can review them. So these are the new events. I can see that they are draft here. So I could go in here and see, yep, this is a state championship. It's been classified as a state event. Here's the date. And we could, if we wanted to, here's the organizer, we could verify this information. So this was the Alabama State Championships on March 14th. If we go back here, find the state championships, Alabama State, March 14th, Holly Mullen. So all this is just HTML that I got Claude to help me parse with Beautiful Soup, which is a great web scraping library, and then transform all of that into a format that could be saved into my own system, which has saved me crazy amounts of time. And this is all working in production as well, at least on the USTA side, a different organization. I've already got that up and running, and soon this NBTA will be one as well, because that's kind of my approach to all of, approach to development in general, which is to try to get something up and deployed as soon as possible so that you can learn about, how it works in the real world, how people are interacting with it, and then iterate on it from there. I didn't try to get all the organizations covered in one go. I was biting it off one piece at a time, and that has turned out to be really helpful and effective. So that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it interesting. And for anybody who's interested in, learning how to vibe code, learning how to design in code, I would love to chat about that anytime. So feel free to reach out. Thanks. Bye.